In this video, I will add reflections of buildings on the streets, but before I want to mention two tips here. I organized my layers a bit. I click on the flyout menu of the layers, panel options. First of all, I make the thumbnail size smaller, and because the layer preview shows thumbnail the whole content of document, so it is not so visible. I check layer bounds on thumbnail contents and OK. And you could see only the bounding of each layers like airplane or other elements. Okay, for now, I'm hiding cars because I have to add reflections of those manually one by one. So I hide cars. Also, I rename it to traffic cones and hide it. Select most top layer. We have to make reflection for each side separately. Right side one reflection and rest of buildings here another reflection. But to do that, I press Ctrl or Command A and Shift Ctrl or Shift Command C to copy merge and Ctrl V to paste. Now I separate sections. Now I choose rectangular marquee tool and select the right side about here and press Shift Ctrl or Shift Command J to via cut. Alright, now we have separate layers, right side and rest of the building. And I remove unwanted informations from this side. Alright, I delete it. Now we have this layer and this layer. Press Ctrl or Command T, right click, flip vertical and zoom out, bring it down until your closest part to camera touch here. Again, you don't have to be too accurate, but it is nice to pay attention to details. Hold on the Shift Ctrl or Shift Command and grab the left edge, bring it up until they touch each other. Okay, and I confirm it. I think we don't need these sections too. Allow me to decrease opacity. Alright, we need just the row. And repeat for the right side. Control or Command T, right click, flip vertical, Control or Command Shift. Okay, I think that's acceptable. We could blur them out each one separately, which I recommended because they have depth. So I select first the main building, filter, blur gallery and tilt shift. Move it down. We have angle here, so rotate. Alright. And you could set blurriness value. Something like that is fine. Okay. Selecting the next layer. Again, filter, blur gallery, tilt shift. And this is almost straight. And increase value. Alright, okay. Now merge these two layers together, press Ctrl or Command E. Now we could change blending mode, but before that I create a mask. And because the reflection is on this asphalt and it is noisy surface, so go filter, noise, add noise. We don't have any color information on mask. Uniform, I think it is too bright, so before using noise, press Ctrl or Command I on the mask to make it invert. Now filter, noise, add noise. This time we have less white particles. I think that's fine, okay. And it is too crisp, so filter, blur and Gaussian blur. Not too intense, not too low. Something about 0.8, it is nice. And maybe a bit motion blur. Filter, blur, and motion blur. Similar to your street angle. And much less value. Okay, something about 4 pixels is fine. Okay. Now we could change the blending mode. Something like screen or linear dodge. You could set something like vivid light and improv light intensity. For example, I press Ctrl or Command M and increase the light. You see? It is nice, but I prefer still to use screen. Okay, I think better to increase darkness. So image adjustment and brightness contrast. I increase contrast value. Again, if you need effect much more, enable use legacy and retweak values. Decrease the brightness, maybe something like that, it is fine. You could decrease opacity. Alright, I set on about 70%. To remove totally dark values, double click on empty space area. In blending options, hold on the Alt or Option and remove the dark sides and blend F. Okay, I think something like that. It is more realistic. And okay. Now we could bring back our layers. I think we need stronger blurriness, so I selected filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. And increase the radius value. Also, we could add more noise. So again, enable mask. You could hold on the Alt or Option key and click to see the mask result. Filter, noise, add noise. I think darker values is better. You could use Gaussians on distribution type to have a stronger noise. Okay. And to have more dark value, image adjustment, you could use levels or curves, or again threshold, maybe something like that. Alright, okay. And filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Not too strong. Just few pixels, maybe 1 or 1.5. Okay, let's check the result. Yeah, it is much more realistic.